Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. I want to first thank Superintendent David Brown for standing here today and standing with our city, truly from your first day, and especially in recent, hard, long days and weeks. And that goes for the entire men and women of the Chicago Police Department. I also want to give my heartfelt thanks to Pastor Chris Harris of Bright Star Community Church for his passionate leadership. This is a man who not only loves his community, loves the city, and has done a lot with his church community to really talk about hard truths, face them, but also come up with concrete solutions and recognizing the trauma that way too many people in our community suffer and experience every day. This man went all the way to Israel to bring back healing to this community. He's a true leader and a gift to our city, and I thank you, Pastor Chris. I've said this before, and I'll say it every day. We will not tolerate people who cross the line. We will not tolerate excessive force. We will not tolerate profanity and homophobic comments that demean the badge, demean the honor of being a Chicago police officer, and demean the value of who we are as Chicagoans. We will not tolerate that. Officers who choose to do those things, or to tape over their badges, or to turn off their body-worn cameras, all things that violate very clear directives of the Chicago Police Department. If you are one of those officers, we will find you, we will identify you, and we will strip you of your police powers. Period. We are not going to tolerate this in our city. You are demeaning all of your colleagues who are working their tails off on 12-hour shifts to keep our city safe. Shame on you. Shame on you. We will not tolerate this, and we will take decisive action, and not only stripping you, as appropriate, you will be fired from the Chicago Police Department.
We cannot afford to let any officer tarnish this star. My best friend in Dallas was a police officer who was killed in the line of duty in 1988, Walter Williams. He was one of those officers that did the job the right way, ethical. He had served in the Army for 20 years and came on as a second career as a police officer. He came on at 42 years old. When I was 22. We were in a rookie class together. I consoled his wife and kids while he lay there fighting for his life. And he lost his battle with that fight and gave the ultimate sacrifice. It's the memory of Walter Williams that endures in my heart today as I serve Chicago. And think about the many officers in Chicago who have made the ultimate sacrifice, doing the job the right way, giving their life for this city. We can't afford to allow people on this department, officers who are vulgar, who are disrespectful, who are harmful physically to our residents, to represent us without being held accountable. We will hold you accountable for your misconduct, and we will be firm. And I reject the notion that you can't support police, which I support police officers, while still holding them accountable. I reject that notion that you have to make this binary choice, one or the other. You support cops by holding officers accountable. I want to thank these officers that do the job the right way. I want to thank our residents for their vigilance and their trust. We are all working together toward a better city. Let's do it together, and let's do it safely. Now I turn the podium over to Pastor Chris Harris. Man, you remind me of my pastor in Dallas, Pastor Harris. A few times we met. I'm gonna have to join your church, brother. Look forward to it. All right, Pastor Harris.
Thank you so much, Superintendent. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that tremendous honor to all of the leadership of our city and our county and our state. First of all, I want to say that I'm not really a fan of press conferences because In my opinion, clergy don't need to be on cameras unless they are doing something to solve problems for their congregants or their constituents in the community. And I want to give a shout out to all of the houses of worship that are now in the streets trying to help, along with my fellow community-based organizations. Thank you. Mama, dad, grandparents, cousin, siblings, spouses, boo and bae. Take a clip of this press conference on your phone, because the reality is you need to text this to your family members, because the folks we really want to talk to don't watch the news that much. Let me say to this city, don't forget what got us here. Systemic racism that produces or protects police brutality. And this is truly a defining moment for our black community. African Americans, let me share this. There has never been a time in the history of this racist country where so many white people are paying attention and asking, how can we help black communities? Never been a time like that. And this next couple of months will either set the black community back for decades or push us forward decades if we handle this wisely and set forth an agenda, make a demand, and clarify our ask. Let me just say this. White people are asking, how can we heal these wounds? But let me just say to the white people, some of you are clearly out of touch, because we are still bleeding, and we are still emotionally, psychologically, financially, and even spiritually in pain. And I want to say to the organizers, 3 things to focus on, even to the pastors. Contemplation. Think about the message that you want to get out, and please stay on message. Stop doing gumbo rallies where you throw everything in. Stay on message. Number 2, concentration. How can we do this in a way where more people who don't look like us and don't live where we live will come because they know they won't get hurt? And then number 3, collaboration. Now this is a big one, because siloed efforts just might be laced with how big and strong it makes individuals look for selfish reasons. No, there is power in numbers. I'm gonna ask everybody out here, since this is the only church I can have today, shout these words: better together.
Better together.
I said I didn't hear y'all say better together.
Better together.
Listen to me good. Black looting does not solve the problem of systemic racism that produce or protects police brutality. But for the white people who don't understand, Dr. King said it best: riots are the language of the unheard. When we kneel peacefully, you don't like it, but we still die. When we march peacefully, you don't like it, but we still die. When Trayvon Martin walks in his own community or other communities with Skittles and a drink in the hand, you don't like it, and we still die. See, the reality is, looting wasn't so bad when white people took our matriarchs and patriarchs from Africa and put them in chains to die in the bottom of slave ships and stole land and possessions. That was looting too. Then, watch this, they made us build a country against our will that we now don't feel safe in and we're dying in every day. Come on, think about it. Black people, I want to encourage you, stop allowing white so-called supportive people who are really undercover antagonists. Stop allowing them to come into our community and fire us up enough to burn down our own communities. Because remember, when the march is over, they're gonna go right back to their own community where they still got grocery stores, where they still have places to live, where they still have jobs and groceries on the shelf. And now grandmama and them can't even get no prescription drugs because we allowed outsiders to come in and send us out. Listen to me good. On this Tuesday, in a 72-hour turnaround time, the Lord gave me a vision, and we had over 10,000 plus people from Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Baha'i, and Catholic communities to peacefully protest in the black metropolis where the Great Migration is known, on Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, without one incident. And let me just say this very clearly. We can do it, and we can do it the right way. Now, I want to be clear, and I want to give a shout out to the police who marched with us. And let me be very clear. Yes, I wanted the police to march with us, not because we want to co-sign their horrible behaviors of the few bad apples, but we wanted the police to be close enough to hear us tell the good ones we're praying for you, and tell the bad ones now you are the prey. And hear me when I tell you this. It is difficult for us to talk to you, police, when we feel you are targeting us. Let me say it again. It's difficult for us to talk to you when we feel like you are targeting us. Here is how I close, and please get this. Don't stop marching. I'm begging you, please keep on marching, but do it the right way. And yes, we might march again. The faith leaders, we're gonna march locally, we're gonna march vocally, but we're gonna march peacefully. And Miss Mayor, let me tell you, since you're doing such a great job, you told us we couldn't have church, but you suggested we can have it outside. So guess what? Go ahead and give us Soldier Field. Let's have it outside together. Give us White Sox Park and let us have it together. Give us downtown Grant Park or Millennium Park so we can all come together. And our first worship service together as black, as Christians, as Muslims, as Jews, as Baha'i, as Catholic, we'll hold up our fists together, black and white, and shout the words, Black Lives Matter. That's the sermon that we need to hear. Let us have it outside. So those that want to join us, I want to encourage you. Please use this hashtag, between the marches. Everybody say hashtag. Hashtag. Between the marches. Between the marches. See, here's what we got to ask ourselves. What are we going to do in between the marches? It's not enough for us to get together and say no justice, no peace. I want to challenge you organizers. Define what justice really is and then demand it. Don't ask for permission. And hear me good. Yes, we're going to march again. Text the words, what is next, without any spaces, to 55469. Good police are to have their own marches too. I'm gonna say it again, the police ought to be having their own marches to call out your homies. Why not consider public acknowledgement, public apology, and public accountability? You tell your homies, tell your coworkers, look, I didn't train for this and I don't get paid enough for all of this drama that racism is causing. These few bad apples. I'm gonna tell you this, we plan to point you out, we plan to call you out, and we certainly plan to flush you out and get you out. Long live the memory of George Floyd, Laquan McDonald, Sandra Bland, and so many others who were humans who became hashtags. Black Lives Matter. Don't forget what got us here. And I can't tell blacks to stop looting until I tell whites to start listening.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We don't want blacks dying no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Black people always have been great.
9, 10, 11, 12.
We have too many blacks in jail.
What's the cry? What's the chatter? Pump your fist, everybody say
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
Everybody say
I can't breathe.
Hands up, don't shoot.
I can't breathe.
Hands up, don't shoot.
I can't breathe.
Hands up, don't shoot.
I can't breathe.
Hands up, don't
some
shoot.
say black, some say colored. African Americans, stop killing each other. Under pressure, all together, we'll always thrive.